Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Monica Corrado here, certified GAPS practitioner, nutrition consultant, the GAP chef, here to answer your questions about anything having to do with GAPS. Again, my website is simplybeingwell.com. You can visit me there for books, classes, online classes, GAPS chat on Thursdays, lots and lots of other things. Hello, Dawn, and hello, Mara. Hello, Megan. Hello, Angela. Good to have everybody with me. Today, I went ahead and, hi, Vicki. Hey, Lena. Couple quick things. Number one, I'm not a medical doctor. You all know that. I do try to represent Dr. Natasha's work as well as I know it. This is the book that we work from. This is the other book that we work from. Also her heart book, her vegetarian book, etc. And this book, which is my book. You all get 15% off on that book. And please do avail yourself. If you're new, grab my fabulous, I think it's fabulous, free to you introduction diet chart. Hello. Yes, Angela, I'm having a good week. I hope you are. Hello, Anna. Look, Anna is here. I'm so glad you're here because you have lots and lots of questions on the group page, which is grand. Just a couple things. I know many of you come every week, and I love it. For new people, welcome, welcome. Just letting you know that it's really important to tag me with an @Monica Corrado on a post if you want me to be able to see your post, because many times it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days before I can even find it in the feed. And it's not that I'm not looking. It's just that it's not showing up. And it's another one of those Facebook things, I suppose. All right. Hello, Yulina. Maybe that's how you say it. I hope so. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so a couple things here. I would like to talk first about managing die-off, because the question is coming up a lot on the page. And so let's start there. And then we're going to move into constipation, because apparently there's some very interesting things going on there. And I'd like to shed some light on all of that. So here we go. So let's talk about managing die-off. First of all, die-off means that one of two things are happening. Either one or both. Either one, you are starving out the pathogenic bacteria, and they are dying off. Yay! Good job! That means that you're not eating things that would feed them. So that is fantastic. Number two, why else does die-off happen? Because you are introducing more probiotic food. That means fermented vegetables, tonics like beet kvass or cabbage tonic. Perhaps it's vegetable medley. Perhaps it's cultured dairy. All of those things are live probiotic foods, and they are things that when you introduce more good bacteria, more beneficial bacteria, the not so beneficial ones will die off. So hopefully you're doing both of those things at the same time. You are starving out the pathogens and you are bringing in reinforcements, which are these wonderful bacteria. And yeast, frankly, if it's vegetable medley or it's kefir, milk kefir, that would be also bringing in beneficial yeasts, which we love. Okay, so both of those things, either one of those things, and certainly both of them together, will cause die-off. That means things are dying, and when they die off in your system, they give you more toxins because they're dead. So they will provoke a reaction. They'll also release their toxins into your system which will also make you feel bad. So I like to call it managing die-off. These are my quotes. Managing die-off, that's your job. A lot of people go barreling through GAPS intro or even the full GAPS diet really fast. They think faster the better, or the more probiotic food I eat, the better, or the more meat stock I drink all at one time, the better. You can do it that way. I don't suggest it. You can do it that way. That's called the bull in a china shop way. And that will get you very sick. And so my preferred way to work with people and suggest to all of you is to manage die-off. That means that you watch your body. You are aware of your particular symptoms, whatever those may be. Again, it could be fever. It could be headache. It could be joint pain. It could be a flare of a rash on your skin. It could be diarrhea. It could be any of these things. It could be flu symptoms. Everybody goes, I'm getting sick. No, you're just having die-off. Not just. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's not a big deal. It could be a big deal. But you need to know, everyone is asked to please be aware of your own symptoms. What are they? What are your symptoms of die-off? How does your body express itself when it's releasing toxins, when it's having die-off? Yeah? How does your child's express itself? Everyone is unique. Everyone is individual. And we need to become really aware of those things. So managing die-off means that you are watching your body and you are looking to see its response to the amount of something you just ate or drank, right? So the amount of probiotic food you're putting in, yeah? The amount of meat stock that you are drinking. Meat stock can cause die-off. Egg yolks can cause die-off also. Not only probiotic foods. So we watch the body and we calibrate the amount of probiotic foods that we're bringing in, the amount of meat stock we're drinking, the amount of egg yolks we're eating, right? We manage the die-off. Again, you are always welcome to just barrel on through and then vomit for 3 or 4 or 5 days and feel like, you've just been run over by a truck. That's not my preferred way. I would rather people listen, pay attention, and adjust. That's the way that I like to work with people. Why? Because it's more comfortable. Because you have a life to live. Because not too many people can afford to be laid up in bed for a whole week or a weekend or feel like, again, they've been run over by a truck. So that is what I call managing die-off. I encourage you to manage your die-off. This is not a race. GAPS is not a race, it's a journey. The slower you go, the deeper the healing. The slower you go, the more symptoms will resolve. We live in a time, and certainly I'm in the US, in a country where everything's got to happen yesterday. And healing doesn't work that way. Healing is a slow, steady journey. And you need to take heart, be patient, do the best you can, and manage die-off with a goal in mind. And your goal may be very different than someone else's goal, right? For example, maybe your goal is to work up to 1 cup of meat stock a day, 8 ounces. Maybe someone else's goal is to work up to 4 cups of meat stock a day. Maybe someone else is in between. It's not a race, it's not a contest, and it's highly individualized, everyone. Highly individualized. Okay, so if people have questions about die-off, please let me know. Happy to answer them, but please do, I really encourage you all to manage your die-off and your children's die-off. It will be a lot easier that way. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is how do you know how to move from stage to stage? So here's my, look at that. I still didn't get another copy for you. Obviously, I use this a lot. Little rip. Lots of bends. Anyway, this is the intro diet chart. How do you know how to move from stage to stage? So there was a question about this on my group page this past week about how do you know how to move when someone has severe eczema? What do you do? So here's my suggestion. Again, I don't know all of the case. Hey, Jane. I don't know. Sorry, it took a while. I don't know all the particulars of this person. Sounded like a 20-something-year-old male, severe eczema. What do you do? And so how do you know how to move stage to stage with something like eczema? So we remember that eczema is often a symptom of a leaky gut. Yeah, it's one of those symptoms, skin issues. I would, if I were working with this person, I would suggest to them that they go back to the intro diet, that they sit on stage 1 for 2 to 5 days. Please, everyone, let people know that stage 1 is no more than 5 days. Okay, folks? You go on stage 1. Stage 1 is what? Meat stock, made of anything, meaning chicken stock, turkey stock, lamb stock, beef stock, pork stock, game stock, pigeon stock, pheasant stock. What do you got? Let's make some meat stock out of it. Fish stock for sure. Let's make some meat stock from meaty bones that have a joint, because joints give gelatin. Yeah, joints give gelatin, gelatin, which is what we need. Connective tissue gives gelatin. Skin, connective tissue, tendons, whatever you got. Feet, we love all of those things. So stage 1 is meat stock. You can eat the meat. You can drink the stock. You can eat the vegetables. Good salt is in there. Raw garlic in every cup, right? A clove. We can talk more about garlic if people are interested. Vegetable soup, blended vegetable soup you're making from stock. Yeah, good salt, good garlic, and the fat in the stock. All of those things are stage 1. You are drinking ginger tea, not only because it tastes good, but because it is a prokinetic, and it helps get things moving. For people with constipation, ginger, every day, fresh ginger tea made with ginger root. Okay, you can also have mint tea, chamomile tea. That's all stage 1. And remembering that we're adding probiotic juice to every bowl. Again, maybe you're just adding a drop to every bowl. That's fine. Maybe you're adding a half a teaspoon. That's fine. Maybe you're at a tablespoon. That's fine. It's all perfect. Listen to your body. Do the amount that you can use, that you can handle managing die-off, right? Stage 1, 2 to 5 days. That is all. Meat stock, vegetable soup, blended vegetable soup, yeah, and probiotic juice. Also, if you are not doing the dairy introduction protocol, if you do not have issues with dairy, then dairy is from stage 1. You can have it all. You can have butter, you can have ghee, you can have yogurt, you can have cultured cream, otherwise known as Gap sour cream. You can have kefir. You can have it all, stage 1, unless you are on the dip or the DIS. I call it the dairy introduction protocol. Dr. Natasha calls it the dairy introduction structure. Same thing. If you have no issues with dairy, we start right off with dairy. Bingo, bango, move. Okay? All right, stage 1. When you get to stage 2, so everyone, 2 to 5 days maximum on stage 1. Then move. Then move to stage 2. What marks stage 2? Egg yolks mark stage 2. So start with your egg yolks. Again, if you're worried about egg yolks, if you have a concern about eggs, this is not anaphylaxis. We're not talking about that. That's on the shelf over there. If you have a concern about eggs, get the best quality eggs you can find. Pastured, organic, eating bugs, good eggs. Start with the yolk and do a skin sensitivity test. If you want to learn what that is, jump into either the yellow book or the blue book, Dr. Natasha's 2 books on gut and psychology and gut and physiology. Okay? And do a skin sensitivity test. It is suggested that you get to 2 yolks per bowl of soup for an adult. You're eating soup and stew and casseroles now on stage 2. And so you're having about 6 egg yolks a day prior to trying to introduce the white. And then skin sensitivity test if you need one. If you don't need one, carry on. Yeah? So once you get to 6 full eggs, and then we go ahead, we're going to work with fermented fish. I hope you're all making fermented fish. There are wonderful fermented fish recipes in the blue book. You should take a look at that. Please use fresh fish if you can get it. If you can get it. And of course, ghee starts on stage 2. So I misspoke. There's no ghee or butter on stage 1. Ghee starts on stage 2. But you could do everything else. You could do yogurt. You could do kefir. You could do all the other beautiful fermented dairies on stage 1. All right. So in any case, here's a good question from Crystal. Hello, Crystal. How do you know if dairy bothers you? Eczema is my son's only symptom. So if that's your son's only symptom, get on the dairy. Okay, folks, so here's the deal. We know that if people are having symptoms, then they need to be healing and sealing their leaky gut. That is GAPS. Do not be afraid of dairy. If you would know if your child or yourself has a problem with dairy a couple of ways. 1, you've had an allergy test and they say you're allergic. An allergy to the protein in dairy, which is casein. Okay? That's one way. 2, you haven't had any testing done, which is fine, but you know that when you eat dairy, you bloat. Maybe you bloat up, you get a tummy ache, maybe you constipate, maybe you get diarrhea. What happens when you eat dairy? Are there symptoms? If there are symptoms, you can start with goat dairy. Dr. Natasha suggests if you think you have an issue with dairy or your child does, start with goat dairy. Raw is always preferred over pasteurized, if you can get it, raw goat dairy. And homemade is always preferred over commercial. And I can do a whole Facebook Live on why later on if people want that. Okay? So, Crystal, if your child has eczema, get started. We got to start. I would go ahead, again, if anyone is concerned about a dairy intolerance, a dairy sensitivity, or a dairy allergy, not anaphylactic, I'm not talking about that now, do what's called the Dairy Introduction Protocol or the Dairy Introduction Structure. It's in both of Dr. Natasha's book and my book, books and my book. So take a look at that. And you can start with goat instead of cow and see how it goes. Okay. Alrighty then. So again and again, folks, if your child has eczema or you do or anybody else, you just proceed with the diet. You proceed with the diet and you proceed with the eczema. You do detox baths. I talked about 5 of them last week. They're on the page. I threw them on my YouTube channel so you can see all of those. Which ones would you use for eczema, etc. 5 different detox baths. And then you can also use kefir, milk kefir topically. You can also, this is for eczema, you can also use honey, raw honey, local best topically. You can also use seaweed wraps topically. to help clear eczema. And always, folks, remember the resource that is homeopathy. I've tagged these folks before in our group. I'm aware of 2 homeopaths. There may be others. Please let me know if you're in our group. But Lise Battaglia, Lise Battaglia, is in New York. She's also a certified GAPS practitioner. She is wonderful, and she will talk to you for, 15, 20, 30 minutes for free to see if it's a good fit for you and or your child or spouse or whoever. The other one is Melissa Crenshaw. She has worked with me on GAPS. She knows some of GAPS, which is awesome, and an excellent homeopathic practitioner that can teach you how to work with homeopathic specific to your child or your own eczema, because they're not all the same. They have different, they show up differently, and so different homeopathics would be needed. All right, folks, so if you have someone that has eczema, work the diet. Lots of meat stock, lots of kefir. If you're doing the stages, work the stages. You can move from stage to stage when your digestive symptoms have cleared, right? But again, one more time with feeling, to be clear, stage 1 is 2 to 5 days maximum. I like to encourage people to go longer than shorter on each one of the stages, because the longer you sit on a stage, the more healing happens. And the most effective stage, effective maybe there's the wrong word, certified GAPS practitioners have seen lots of healing happen when people sit on stage 2, because Dr. Natasha has said over and over again that stage 2 is nutritionally complete, and people can stay on stage 2 a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, frankly, without ever moving to stage 3 or 4 or 5, which have issues. Again, these things are things that you could work with to tailor your own program with a certified GAPS practitioner. Check out gaps.me, which is Dr. Natasha's website. Always check out gaps.me. You have an issue? Go to gaps.me. FAQs. Please go there before you jump on a Facebook group and ask someone a question about what's going on for you. Please go ahead and read the yellow book, or read the blue book, or read both books. If you don't want to read the whole thing, look in the index for your own condition and get on gaps.me. Please, Dr. Natasha has answered so many things, and she really is the source, folks. When I have an issue, I go to Dr. Natasha, yeah? And I'm on her teaching team. So I know there's a lot of people out there who are trying to be helpful, and that's awesome, and we are grateful. We appreciate them, and I really encourage every one of you. I encourage you, and I encourage your friends, and I ask you to encourage your friends and your family and anyone else who's trying to work the GAPS diet. Please go to the source first before you jump on other Facebook groups or whatever. Even before you jump on my page. What can you find? It's right there. Dr. Natasha updates that page all the time with answers to hundreds of questions. Okay, so that's my little spiel about that. All righty. Look at all these lovelies. Okay, we have Alina. Hello, Alina. Good for you. Hello. Welcome. Hello, Megan. Good to see you. Okay. Let's talk to Alina. If an adult can have up to 6 egg yolks per day, how many a child can get per day? So again, these are just guidelines. Some adults are having 12 egg yolks per day because they are really ill. I'll say it differently. Because they're nutrient deficient, because their adrenals are shot, because they're exhausted. Remember that yolks are one of nature's perfect foods. Very easy, if you can tolerate them. Very easy for the body to absorb the nutrition. So don't skimp on egg yolks. Don't skimp on egg yolks. Have more if you want them. Don't be afraid of them. If you can tolerate eggs, have as many as you like. I was just saying, it's not up to 6 egg yolks per Yes, it is. 6 egg yolks per day is the point at which we start introducing the whites. Children, again, how old's the child and what's their weight? Probably between 3 and, I would say, 3 yolks. At 3 yolks, once your child can tolerate 3 yolks, go ahead and see about whether they can tolerate the whites. That's the time that you would move to the next one, or move to introducing the whites in addition to the yolks. Okay, hope that's helpful. All right, Megan says, I have a dry red patch under my eye and under my lower lip that have returned. They went away before the last 5 months on intro diet, 4 months now on stage 2. Excellent. I treated suspected yeast overgrowth due to ongoing bloating and histamine issues. Both have improved so much. I'd love to know how you treated yeast overgrowth. Please let me know what that is in the comments. So I'm thinking it's not yeast. I just introduced sunflower seed butter this last week in pancakes trying to go to stage 3. Did not react to sunflower seed butter with wrist test. Could it be an issue with lectins? Unsure. Okay, couple things, folks. Good questions there. Thank you, Megan. Okay, so remember that, or maybe you don't know. I'm not even sure if Dr. Natasha spells it out in the blue book. I haven't checked. Sorry about that. But working with her teaching, my understanding is that nuts and seeds on stage 3 can feed yeast. Actually, I know she has it. In the blue book, she talks about how if you have an infection, you have a cold, you have a flu, you're not feeling well, your immune system is low, stay off nuts. And you all know from me that we're going to stay off nuts and seeds, because nuts, seeds, beans, and grains are all seeds, and they're all the same category. Yeah. Many nuts are high in lectins, and other anti-nutrients. All seeds are high in anti-nutrients, right? Phytic acid, enzyme inhibitors, yeah, lectins, difficult things for the body to digest. So just remembering that nuts and seeds and beans, of which there are some allowed on GAPS, and grains, which are not allowed on GAPS at all, none of them, all have anti-nutrients, and you need to do something to them. That means soak them in water and salt, or sprout them on your windowsill, like the little seeds they are, or ferment them in whey, or you can ferment them in water and whey. You can ferment them in water and a probiotic pill. You can ferment them in water and a starter. All of that is in this book, very, very detailed. That part of this book, right? Nuts, seeds, beans, grains, GAPS. I do talk about grains and the transition diet when you get off. All right, so yes, this could be an issue. That is to say, for everyone, that nuts and seeds and beans and grains later are all seeds. They can all feed yeast, which is why Dr. Natasha years ago now, maybe 2 or 3 years, time is flying, started suggesting that perhaps people skip nuts on stage 2 if their symptoms return. If you have if your symptoms come back. So maybe your symptoms were gone or these particular symptoms were gone after stage 1 and stage 2, and you started introducing nuts and seeds in the pancake, and your symptoms come back. I would get off of those pancakes for 2 or 3 weeks and then try them again. I had tried the sunflower seed butter before moving to stage 3 and asked for advice due to bloating intensifying and told possibly yeast, and to go back to stage 2, increase stock and kefir intake. Good. I'm working with a functional medicine dietitian, excellent, who added oregano oil and allicin, garlic, and apple cider vinegar or lemon juice to water for 2 months. Okay. Megan, how long were you on? I'm sorry, I'll go back to your question. Check it out. Okay, intro diet, 5 months on intro, 4 months on stage 2. Yeah, I have to say, so again, this is the word according to Monica. You're working with a functional medicine dietitian person. That's fabulous. Everybody needs to make their own call. I personally would have counseled work the diet for at least 6 to 8 months before we did anything with oregano oil or any other antifungal, etc. Increase the amount of garlic you're eating. Unless you can't handle garlic, then you could do the supplement. But really, we're trying to work just for everyone. This is the word according to Monica and Dr. Natasha. As far as I know, we work the diet for a good long time, 8 months, 12 months, before we start adding in any kind of antifungals, antiparasitics, anti-anythings. All right. Again, I don't know your particular case, Megan. I'm sure you're doing what you need to be doing, and you've got a good person, and that's awesome. And we go from there. Okay. So again, one more time with feeling, Megan, I would cut out the nuts and seeds right now. That's if you were working with me, would suggest cutting out nuts and seeds, no nut butter pancakes or any nut butter anything or seed butter anything, at least another 2 weeks. Try it again. That's usually the thing, folks. Again, another gem for you. Write it down on the refrigerator or your blackboard or wherever your GAPS notes are. If you try to introduce a new food and your symptoms come back, get off the food for a minimum of 2 weeks. More meat stock, and then try to introduce it again. 2 weeks is the amount of time, or longer if you wish. Okay. Hello, Karen. Karen is back. Nice to have Karen with us. All right. Karen says, I'm after a bad cold. I'm on extended stage 2, but I haven't eaten in 4 days. Stage 2. All right. Get off stage 2. If you have a bad cold, stage 1, everybody, you have a bad cold, stage 1, jump on stage 1. We're going to have lots of stock with good salt for your electrolytes, stock, and lots of sauerkraut juice and or whey. Both. Knock your bad cold right out for everyone. Remember, again, another gem here, probably not written anyplace, but we know it as practitioners. If you have a cold of any kind, a cold, a cough, a cold, etc., your body can tolerate much more sauerkraut juice than it ever would if you didn't have that cold, because it's using it medicinally. So just get that cabbage tonic going. I put my recipe on my page. You're welcome to it, or our page. I call it cabbage tonic. It's out of Nourishing Traditions, Sally Fallon's cookbook, if you have that. Really good when you need a lot of kraut juice. Okay. Stage 2 foods are making me nauseous. Don't eat it. I'm craving plain toast. Can you break this diet when you hit a brick wall like me? I'm already underweight and can't afford to lose weight anymore. I'm starving but can't face. Okay, so here's the thing. Karen, I really would jump on to meat stock until you feel better. Meat stock, sauerkraut juice, vegetable medley juice. Who's got it? Vegetable medley, folks, is like an incredible tool. Please, everyone, make vegetable medley. If you don't know how to make vegetable medley, jump in the yellow book, jump in the blue book, jump in my book. Vegetable medley requires kefir whey. Kefir whey. Whey from kefir. Why? Because vegetable medley is good yeast and bacteria. And often people who are nauseous can't handle milk kefir. It's just too much on the system. No problem. Do it with vegetable medley juice. That's my thought. So Karen, just lots of garlic, lots of garlic, lots of raw pressed garlic. If everyone has, I hope you've fermented garlic, you've got that at home. Do you have any fire cider? Fire cider at home? I would be doing that. I would also be doing things like Lots of meat stock with lots of ginger and garlic in it and lots of good salt, and just ride it out. Ride it out so you can feel better. Okay, so whey, sauerkraut juice, otherwise known as cabbage tonic, vegetable medley juice. These are the powerhouse, and meat stock, good salt. These are your things that allow you to power through and get over these colds more quickly. Okay, hello, Annie. Hello, Annie. Have you been here before? I don't know. Here we go. Annie says, just wanted to state how grateful I am for God leading our family to the GAPS diet. Yes. To help our severe ASD 3-year-old son. Excellent. Yes. What incredible knowledge all you Gapsters possess. Thank you. Thank you for doing these educational videos. You are so welcome. You're very welcome. I hope it's helpful. People are sick. I'm trying to make myself available as much as I can here. Our son had been on stage 2 for 4 months now, and we've seen improvement in numerous ways. Excellent. It's a marathon, not a sprint. That makes me cry. Yep. And for sure, and we are so hopeful for his future. Yes, many blessings to you. Thank you. Thank you, Annie. Many blessings to everyone who is blessed with an ASD child, is blessed with any child, is blessed with, the courage and the patience and the stick-to-itiveness that GAPS requires. Yep. Okay, thanks for all those hearts. Karen says the broth is making me nauseous too. So Karen, back off. How can you, I would then work with really watered down stock, perhaps, half and half. Just find where you can engage. Listen to your body. Find where you can engage. Can you just sip on whey all day? Perfect. Can you just sip on watered down whey all day? Perfect. Can you sip on watered down kraut juice or cabbage tonic? Perfect. Find what you can do, and you will get over this. It's going to take a little bit of time, but the idea with a cold, folks, is to try and get in vitamin C, which is going to be cabbage tonic or sauerkraut juice, very high in vitamin C. You can also put some lemon in some water. Maybe that would help also. Lemon juice squeezed. Don't know if you can handle that. Lemon juice and salt water would be so good for you, Karen. If you can, find what you can do. Baby steps. And just to nurse yourself through this thing. Maybe it's just vegetable medley juice. No problem. Whatever you can do will be perfect. Okay. Megan says, thanks for the advice. Needed direction. We added the supplements as I can't tolerate a lot of raw pressed garlic. Perfect. I understand that. That's what I was thinking. I was losing weight too. Winter squash is bloating me and couldn't tolerate more fats. I can now tolerate squash. We'll go back to stage 2, no nuts and seeds. Excellent. Remember too, I don't know, Megan, what your situation is, but perhaps if you're losing weight, folks, on GAPS, do not despair. You will gain it back. Dr. Natasha says often that people lose weight on GAPS only to find their true weight. A lot of times the body is holding a lot of water, which is water weight, which needs to go. Sometimes we just need to lose some weight and then come back up. You'll recalibrate. If you're hungry, please do look at adding in more and more milk kefir and or cultured cream. If you're hungry, add in more fat if you can. I know you said you can't tolerate a lot of fat. If you cannot tolerate fat, folks, please get yourself on some ox bile. You can find that at gapsdiet.com. I also love to use Colacol, which is from Standard Process. That's my favorite. You'll need a practitioner to access that product. But if you can't handle fats, folks, that means your gallbladder and liver need help. And I would go ahead and supplement. Dr. Natasha says that's fine. Supplement with ox bile until you can handle fats. Okay, good job. Hello, Anna. After a bout of vomiting, straight whey is most helpful to me. Yes, good. Fermented vegetable juice is great too. However, Anna, I did see your post, and I'm going to say that when someone is constipated, whey is a bad idea because whey is straight milk protein and it will constipate. So here's another little piece for people. I know you've picked this up from Dr. Natasha's books and writing. When we're working with constipation, we want to work only with high-fat dairy. That means butter, ghee, Gap sour cream, otherwise known as cultured cream or creme fraiche. There is no whey and there is no milk kefir. There is no yogurt and there is no cheese. So when people are constipated, we stay away from whey. We stay away from milk protein. We go with milk fat. And sometimes when people are constipated, we take dairy out entirely. That is also straight out of Dr. Natasha's teaching. All right. So, hello, Dawn. Nice to have you. Okay, let's go back here to Caroline. Hey, Caroline, nice to have you too. Here we go. And everyone who's not typing in, I can see you're here. Welcome, welcome. Okay, Caroline says, is it okay to make baked goods with honey, or is dried fruit the only sweetener we can bake with? All righty, good one, Caroline. So I have to say that Dr. Natasha in her early book did bake a little bit with raw honey. However, over the years, she has taught that heating honey is toxic. That doesn't mean you can't put it in your tea. It means baking it. So baking with honey creates toxins. So that's something that Ayurveda has known for thousands of years. It creates what's called ama, A-M-A, toxins in the body. So baking honey with honey is not the best idea. That's what I go by. I do not bake with honey. Dr. Natasha is now saying probably not a good idea to bake with honey. Let's not heat honey. Okay, you can have it in your tea. So yes, dried fruit is the best way, the best thing to use in terms of sweetener. Yes, that's the best thing. It's also the most natural for your body, right, folks? So good question, Caroline. Excellent. And that is the best way to go, not to bake with honey. So all those GAPS recipes you see out there online that have baked honey, probably not the best. See what you can do to switch out and use dried fruit. Okay, you reconstitute the fruit and use that. Good question, Caroline. Thank you. Okay, woohoo! Dawn loves to be here. I love that. Okay, yes. So, Crystal wanted to know, how do you know if you can't handle fats? What symptoms? Again, folks, go straight back to the books. How do you know you can't handle fats? Nausea. So Megan has answered down here, bad nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and some reflux are symptoms. So yes, so Crystal and everyone else, your body is very wise. And so the body has this little signal when you're taking in more fat than your body can process at the time. And that is called nausea. That's the signal, nausea. Catch it early or you're going to vomit, right? So nausea is the signal, sometimes vomiting if you don't catch it fast enough that you're taking in too much fat. Nausea and vomiting. Yep, some people have reflux if you cannot handle fats. So what happens? What do you do? People can't handle fats, most of them, again, big generalization here, folks, again, most of them, because they haven't eaten fats. Remember that the low-fat, no-fat diet was very prevalent, and still you find it everywhere. but certainly from the 80s on. So we've had 40 years of low fat, no fat. There are a lot of people in this country, in the world, who were born to moms who didn't eat fat when they were pregnant. Problem. Neurological problems, all sorts of things. Not that the moms weren't doing their best. They were. No blame. However, when you don't use a function in your body, when you're not used to eating fat, the body's not going to be used to eating fat. So fat is very important in the GAPS diet. It's very important. It plays lots of roles for you. And if you can't tolerate fat, you just want to start with a little bit and then increase. So you start with a little bit and then, right? Start with a little bit, stay that level, increase, stay that level, increase, stay that level till you can tolerate, right? We're always talking about tolerating. What can you tolerate? How much fat can you tolerate? Listen to that. You are the only one you need to be concerned with, right? How much fat can I tolerate? And what kinds of fat can I tolerate? And do I need assistance tolerating fats? Maybe some ox bile, right? All those things. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you to Megan for sharing. Hello, Carla. Hello, Maria. Nice to have you with us. All right. Here we go. Anna asks, how fresh do fish have to be for fermenting? Can I buy fresh fish here in Maryland? Or I love Maryland. I moved from Maryland. Hello to Silver Spring and Tacoma Park. Okay, I can buy fresh fish here in Maryland, but how long is it allowed to sit in transit before I ferment with it? I'm a bit scared of food poisoning. So again, buy your fish from a reputable food fish salesperson. Go to Whole Foods. Is Whole Foods always the greatest? No. But are they pretty good with fish and sustainability? Yes. So I would feel okay with their fresh fish. I would also feel fine with things like Vital Choice fresh fish, which is online. Actually, it'll come frozen. Just go ahead. Don't worry about, you can't control how long it sits in transit, right? Look, you're in Maryland. You're on the coast. You can get great fish. Yeah. Don't be afraid of food poisoning. People, you can if you want to be, but fear is not a good thing. Remember that fermentation, when you ferment something with salt, it is in a pH range that does not allow pathogens to grow. Love it, right? So you don't have to be frightened. Same thing when we ferment vegetables, right? What is the thing that allows the beneficial bacteria to grow? Salt. That's why we use it. Salt creates conditions to prevent pathogens from growing in a fermented food. That's why we use salt. That's why we love salt. Salt, salt, salt. So if you ferment using one of the recipes that Dr. Natasha has, and you buy fish that smells fresh when you get it, it shouldn't smell like, ooh, smells gross. Anything that is, ooh, smells gross, throw it out. Not worth trying. But certainly if you use one of the recipes and you follow it, the salt will prevent any kind of pathogens from growing. That is its role in fermentation, just so everybody understands that. Okay. Okie dokie, okie dokie. What else? Hello. Okay, we have a question. What about baking a cake with almond flour or other seed flour? Isn't it toxic? Baking with almonds or other seeds, isn't it toxic? Not to my knowledge. If you have done something to the nuts or seeds, meaning soaked in water and salt, sprouted, and turned it from a seed to a plant, I have to tell you, folks, that's one of the best things to do, is to sprout. Or fermented. So when you soak and or sprout and or ferment nuts and seeds, the lectins are, taken care of. The anti-nutrients are neutralized or taken out of the equation because of these traditional processes that we use. So That's what I know. If you have further questions, I think your name is Julina. I'm not sure. I hope I'm saying it right. Let me know if you have other questions. Okay, here we are. La, la, la. Let's talk. Should we talk about constipation? Wouldn't that be fun? Let's do that, because I know that that's a big, big question on the page right now. Constipation. Number 1. Ready, folks? Constipation. Constipation is not fun. It is really important. It is more than really important. It is vital. It is more than vital. It is critical. It is supremely important that everyone have a bowel movement every day. Everyone has at least one bowel movement every day. I want to really, I'm saying that, okay, folks? All right, so everyone needs to have a bowel movement every day. If you do not have a bowel movement every day, you are strongly recommended to do an enema. Everyone, children, adults, infants, everyone in between, enemas. Okay? The only time we don't do an enema is if you have bleeding ulcerative colitis or something really severe. If you have hemorrhoids, you can do enemas. If you have bleeding hemorrhoids, you can do a gentle enema. But enemas are really the number one tool. So everyone has to get over their fear of enemas, their worry about enemas, the ickiness of enemas. Enemas are your number one tool to clear constipation. We cannot have people putting toxins back into their body when you don't have a bowel movement. That's the point of the bowel movement. We have to get it out of the body. So please do look at the basic enema, which is water and salt and baking soda. It's a teaspoon of baking soda or bicarbonate of soda, a teaspoon of salt, a liter of warm water that should be a little cooler than body temperature. Clear it out, clear it out, clear it out. Okay, I've made that very clear. I'm just repeating what Dr. Natasha feels very, very strongly. You know, you can't sit there eating all these beautiful foods without releasing the toxins. The toxins must go. I have Crohn's. Should I avoid all enemas? I don't have constipation. I do not believe you should avoid enemas, Crystal, if you have Crohn's, but I would look at it straight. I would go straight to this book. Let's go there together. I'm looking under bowel management. There's a whole chapter on bowel management. Anyone that has constipation needs to look at the chapter on bowel management, page 372 in the blue book. Let's go there together. Yeah. La, 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 la. I'm looking with you. Un momento, por favore. Also, there are 10 things Dr. Natasha suggests anyone do if they have constipation. Please look at them. Constipation is always a sign of deficient gut flora. She also says that constipation is a sign of a congested liver. So let's get those things cleared up. Let's work the liver. It is liver time, so it's time to be really working with our liver. All right. No child or adult should be left constipated. Chronic constipation is extremely harmful for the whole body. It lays the ground for all sorts of digestive disorders, including bowel cancer, and produces a huge amount of various toxins which poison the whole body. Okay, an immediate remedy for constipation, there is nothing more effective than an enema. Okay, so here's what we do. An enema, followed by a warm bath, one of the 5 detox baths. After the bath, rub oil on the abdomen. Sunflower oil, Udo's oil, hemp oil, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. Do this every night until enemas are relieved. Let's look for Crohn's. Sorry. Quick. Let's look. Yeah. For a chronically constipated person, it is best to use all of these measures. There are 10 of them in this book every day. All right. I'm looking very quickly for Crohn's. La, 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 la. I'm singing for you so you don't get bored. There's also coffee enemas. Don't even look at that right now. Coffee enemas are not good for hyperactive thyroid, Graves, high blood pressure, anaphylactic allergy to coffee, and other life-threatening allergies. Yeah, I'm not seeing that Crohn's is contraindicated for enemas, but let's look more. Okay? All right. All right, here we go. A couple more questions. Dawn, hello, Dawn. Dawn says, I think part of my constipation is a fallen bladder or uterus. Is there someone who knows, someone who teaches the proper kind of... Yes. Here's what you should do, Dawn, or should. I mean, obviously I can't should anybody, but I would do for abdominal massage. Mayan, M-A-Y-A-N, abdominal massage. Very good for prolapsed uterus, bladder. Mayan abdominal massage. There is someone on our page. You can tag for more information. Her name is Colleen Holland, Holland. She is a chiropractor on our page, and she's really got some good information about Mayan abdominal massage. Please get to her. Okay. You're welcome, Crystal. All right. Anna says, why is a steel foot basin okay for foot baths if we're adding acid to the water? What is a regular white bath? You know what, Anna? Do whatever works for you. Do whatever works for you. If you'd rather use ceramic, perfect. I was just talking about not a good idea to use plastic. Plastic is never a good idea. We should have very little plastic in all our homes if we're GAPS people. We should have no plastic food containers. We should use no plastic bottles. We should drink out of not plastic bottles. If we have a water bottle, we should not use plastic. So that's what I would say. Just trying to give some options there. All right. So we have 2 more things. You're welcome. Happy to talk more about this as have issues myself. PM me, been seeing a pelvic floor PT. So Dawn, get to Megan. Pelvic floor information, yes. Caroline says, my daughter had chronic diarrhea and took digestive enzymes for a long time. GAPS has resolved her chronic diarrhea and she seems to be digesting well now. My question is, how do we know if it is time to stop taking the digestive enzymes and can just rely on sauerkraut is the clue in the stool? So, digestive enzymes. So we have to remember that enzymes are different than hydrochloric acid. So if her hydrochloric acid is low, then you could see, if anyone's hydrochloric acid is low, you could see vegetable matter in the stool. Okay? So in terms of enzymes, I have to tell you, personally, this is the word according to Monica, I really think everyone should be on digestive enzymes, diet or not diet, because all of us need help with our digesting our food, and enzymes are a wonderful way to make sure that you're actually breaking down the food. So what could you do instead of enzymes? Again, it's not a hydrochloric acid question, it's an enzyme question. You could eat a lot of sauerkraut, yes, or make sure you're having lots of kraut during your meals. Kraut or fermented foods or fermented beverages like beet kvass or cabbage tonic or kombucha or whatever. Those would give you a lot of enzymes. So you could try it and see how she does. It's always the best way to go, Caroline. You could try let's see how she does. But usually chronic diarrhea does not resolve with enzymes. In my understanding, it resolves with, it really resolves with bacteria, good bacteria, and repopulating the gut. That's my understanding. Okay, so I have another question from Maria, way up here, I think. Maria, yes. Just bought pig feet. Yes, trotters. I love it. How do I use them? Is one enough for a big meat stock or more? Can I reuse them? Yes. So I would personally, trotters. I hope they're cut. Even if they're not cut, I would use water to cover by 1 inch to 2 inches and just roll them, bring it to a boil, skim and discard scum, put it to a simmer, put the lid on top, cook them for 6 hours, and then probably roll them again. Strain, start over. That's what I would suggest with trotters. Good idea. Wonderful. Okie dokie. Let's see what else. Okay. All right, everyone. We are past time. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Thank you for coming out and being with me today. I will see you in a week. I hope this was helpful. We talked about a lot of different things today. I hope it was helpful to you. I will be here on Tuesday of next week, same GAPS time, same GAPS channel. So do hit the page with your questions. Do visit the resources and files I've got there. Do go to gaps.me, everyone, and look at the FAQs. Thank you for the hearts and the hugs and the everything. Really appreciate it. Really helpful. Really enjoy being with all of you for sure. For enemas, do we use the longer 6 to 8 inch insert or the normal 3 inch? Just go ahead, start with a 3 inch, Anna, and see how it goes. You're welcome, everyone. Hello, Allie Rose. You're welcome. I'm glad it was helpful. You're welcome, Crystal. Good, Anna. Okay, be well, everyone. See you next week. Take good care of yourselves and each other. And remember, if nothing else, breathe and be mindful. 3 deep breaths before you start eating. Okay. Be well, everyone. Bye now.